the day, like what the other shareholders, Baba mentioned that yes, we've been paying dividend, because if you look at our dividend last year was almost 50% more. So by the grace of God, we'll try and get out of the mess. The biggest mess created was actually the devaluation of the Naira from 460 to 1,400, and you can see almost 97% of the companies in especially in food and beverages businesses, none of them will pay dividend this year for sure. But we will try and get out of it as soon as possible. So, and that relates to the next question, which by the grace of God, we want to see that at the end of the day, no matter how small, we'll be able to pay some dividend, especially if there is a rebound of the Naira.
Aliko Dangote speaking at the 18th annual general meeting of Dangote Sugar Refinery. He was speaking about the mess that Tinubu created by devaluing Naira by as much as 200%. It has caused serious job losses. Many companies have closed down as a result. Many multinationals have left Nigeria. Like Dangote said, many companies wouldn't pay dividends this year because of the huge losses they made last year as a result of the Naira devaluation. The worst part is that many foreign denominated loans that many companies took, they can't be able to repay these loans because of the Naira devaluation. They will have to pay through their teeth, because imagine taking a loan at 460 Naira to $1 and you are forced to repay it at over 1,000 Naira to $1. That's why many companies are announcing that they will exit Nigeria. Now, in the oil industry, many companies, including Total Energies, Eni, and many others, they have announced that they will exit Nigeria onshore oil production. Although they cited security and oil theft as the major reasons they are exiting the onshore oil production platforms, but it's not far-fetched that Nigeria's economy is on a downward slide, occasioned by Naira devaluation, which subsequently diminished the purchasing power of Nigerians. Before anyone starts laughing or mocking Dangote, saying that he has been enjoying government patronage for years, that he shouldn't complain, he should deal with it, remember that Dangote is a dollar billionaire. He can never be poor. He can never feel the hardship like an ordinary Nigerian roaming the streets of Nigeria. So rather than laugh at Dangote, it is better to concentrate on the message. The greatest message here is that if people like Dangote could feel the effects of the policies of the current administration, then you should know that things have gone way out of hand. And it will continue to get worse. When you look back in history, starting from 1999, you will see that all past presidents, they always had an exceptional first year in office. Starting from Obasanjo when he took over power in the military, to Yaradua when Yaradua took over him, there was a serious change that first year he took power despite not being well enough. Even Buhari in 2015, there was this effect. You heard stories like, the Buhari effect. Some people were even saying that they experienced more power supply, unlike before. They come with them a particular change, maybe the euphoria of getting to office for the first time. After the campaign, they have all that energy to show that they are working in their first year. This current administration will be the first time in Nigeria's history that a new administration actually did worse than the administration it replaced. Yes, that's exactly what is happening. And like they say, the taste of the pudding is in the eating. If the first year is like this, how will the second year, the third year, and the fourth year be? So Nigerians are in for a long ride. It will continue to get worse because they continue doing all the wrong things and claiming that they are right. How can anyone justify spending trillions of naira on a coastal road when there are many other sectors that they can invest even half of that money and get higher results? Why are they fixated on a single road? It is beyond reason. How will anyone not see the importance of constant electric power supply to economic growth? Because the more we produce, The more Naira gains value against foreign currencies, the less we depend on importation. It is very simple. So why is the Nigerian government not investing in the power sector with the same vigor they are investing on the coastal road? There's this story by Reuters a few days ago that a petrol tanker loaded with crude oil from the US and owned by PetroChina refused to dock at Dangote refineries because he didn't fulfill his letter of credit. Dangote wanted a swap. He wanted to take the crude oil and repay them with refined products, but they refused, insisting that they want a letter of credit before they can dock. It's not clear if the standoff has been resolved, but what is clear is that if someone at the level of Dangote, a bank, refused to raise a letter of credit for him, what will happen to an ordinary Nigerian who is not a dollar billionaire? Another question many aren't asking is why is Dangote refinery importing crude oil from the United States when Nigeria is sitting on a very large reserve of crude oil? What is going on? Does it mean that Nigeria will continue to import petroleum products in perpetuity? So it's no longer a matter of not having refineries to refine petroleum products locally in Nigeria. Dangote built one of the largest refineries in the world. Nigeria cannot supply him crude oil. He's forced to import crude oil to refine and to sell to Nigerians. So what happened to local production of crude oil? Remember that everything concerning crude oil and other natural resources are in the control of the federal government alone. So it's not a matter of pushing it to the private sector and saying that they are not interested in manufacturing anything in Nigeria. So this is their sole responsibility. Back in the 70s, the Nigerian government was able to refine all petroleum products locally. All the refineries were working at their optimum level. Petroleum products importation was virtually non-existent. Nigerian government was pumping crude oil and exporting them. They were still refining other products locally. Remember also that our population at the time wasn't up to 80 million. Today we have more than double of that population, and we cannot refine petroleum products locally at the level we did more than 40 years ago. In fact, the past 25 years we've been battling on how to refine petroleum products in Nigeria, something we did with ease in the 70s and the 80s. Also, when you compare our national budget in the 70s, when we had a population that is less than 50% of our current population, to the national budget of today, the national budget of the 70s is higher than what we have today. It's unbelievable that a population of more than 200 million people, their budget is lower than a population of less than 80 million people. Yes, forget about all the trillions you see on national budgets. When you convert it to dollars, you will see that we are actually regressing. How can a country that budgeted more than $25 billion in the 70s be budgeting less than $20 billion today with more than double the population? As you can see, the Nigerian government has done it before, so the current government doesn't need to look any further for solutions for Nigeria's economic problems. They don't need any advice from any IMF or other financial institutions abroad. They just need to emulate what past governments did in the 70s and 80s. If they are able to reach the production level Nigeria had in the 70s and 80s, definitely they will be able to reach that budget, that over $25 billion we had at the time, and imagine what they can achieve if we reach double the production level we had in the 70s. We won't be here talking about the devaluation of the Naira. So they should stop looking for shortcuts like devaluation and other policies they've implemented. They should just get on with production.